Hey YouTube! Today I wanted to explore a topic that I find super fun and super interesting and was inspired by Shadiversity's own video that he did on an adventurer's kit, I guess, or what their setup, what their EDC would be on an adventure. And this is kind of my own spin on it, my own kind of modern tactical spin on it. And so it less focused is on kind of like a medieval setting, but it would be focused on kind of a modern setting. Kind of like an apocalyptic setting, I suppose. Because in a modern setting, you know, I don't know if I'd be doing all this. I would just be packing heat, you know what I mean? But in a modern setting, that would be more like an apocalypse, where you wouldn't want to be using up all your ammunition on some random fodder. That would be saved for other people with guns. And so that would be like a last step contingency plan. Just like it is in real life. It should be your last step, never your first. And going off of that, I would want to be well equipped for a lot of things that might come my way. My first option would be the humble spear, the king of the battlefield. And this is an obvious choice because it's, you know, as it has dominated in battles for centuries, millennia maybe. The spear is a long-reaching weapon, and I'd be able to, you know, I'd be able to pick off zombies and whatnot real quick. If someone came at me with a sword and whatnot, you'd be well equipped to defend them. I actually made this. This is my modern take on it. This is a full metal spear. I actually made this out of... The scabbard is not metal. The scabbard is a smart water bottle. I had actually made this. I had spray painted it black. It actually fits perfectly on the spearhead, and I don't know if I'd even be able to recreate it again if I wanted to. I had used a Dremel, and I had punched a hole in it like just perfectly that it sits in there. This is a spearhead from Cult of Athena. This is like a $30 spearhead, and I had this for years and years, and I had never used it. It just sat in my closet. I had never had a haft to go with it. And so I had thought this up somewhat recently, maybe last year. I had taken a 3/4 inch conduit pipe, and I had just slapped the head on there through 2 self-tapping metal screws onto it on either side and reinforced it with washers, and it's super sturdy. And yeah, cut it to size how I liked it. It's about 5 foot. It's about 5 feet, which is, you know, I wouldn't want a spear taller than myself. I'm about like 5'5", 5'6". And the reason being because if you wanted to EDC carry the spear around, you wouldn't want it bumping into a whole bunch of things as you're walking. And so this perfectly suits my needs. Another Shadiversity inspired design was the tip down carry. And so the purpose of this is that you would be able to walk along with your spear, and as soon as an enemy or trouble, whatnot, presents itself, you're able to raise up the spear in one motion. You'd be able to just present your spear. And this is actually not too cumbersome at all. It is somewhat limiting, but I'm able to still swing, still make full motions, still reach for other things and whatnot, and it's really not too in the way. This is the heaviest and most cumbersome item like in my whole kit. And so even with this, I'm very mobile. I'm very able to maneuver and, you know, manipulate around my environment. However, if I drop the spear, say I'm in combat or whatnot, the spear comes away from me, I am still perfectly mobile. As you can see, I kind of wanted to design it with the backpack scaffolding in mind. This makes it so that, I'm going to give you a back view right now. This makes it so that everything is flush and in line with me, save for, you know, the top right here that I have to mind. Otherwise, I'm able to manipulate very well. Things aren't falling off of me. I can bump and fall around, and nothing's going to be coming off of me. Everything's going to be super stable and secure. I'm able to bend down, move from side to side without being encumbered. Everything's stable. Everything's where it should be. The bows, it get kind of messy here and there, but that's not the main point. It is still very mobile. Let's go ahead and see the kit in action. So just a disclaimer, this is a room in my house. I'm not going to be firing my bow, and nor am I going to be swinging as fast or as hard as I could be. This is also in no way a representation of how I would be acting, behaving, or moving in a real combat or survival scenario. This is simply for demonstration purposes. I just wanted to highlight the capabilities and the versatility of the adventuring kit. I wanted to show the mobility of it and also just have fun with it. You know, I hope no one's taking any of this too seriously. I already know the comments are going to be filled with a bunch of keyboard warriors that are going to be saying, oh, there's no way that you would do, you know, some kind of maneuver in a survival situation as if, you know, they've been in a survival situation themselves in an apocalypse and they're in a modern adventure or whatever. Yeah, have at you, you know, go have fun, go crazy in the comments. You guys are giving me interactions anyways. Yeah, this was just for fun. Hammer, baby, bam, and oh, boom, firearm. Don't forget. Like this is all for show. This is all for show. This is not though. Everything's able to draw from the back as such. You can grab the bow right out. Back style, very fantasy style. Drawing the bow from the back rather, and same for the quiver. I know a lot of traditional historical ones would be bow's already in your hand or your spear's already in your hand. I think the strap carry was actually, don't quote me, I think I actually heard this on Shadiversity's video. It was used by cavalry soldiers so it doesn't fall off. They can ride their horses and just tip forward with their spears. Of course, they're going to be much longer than the ones that I have. They're going to be much longer than body length. But the point is, you would want everything to be secure and mobile and maneuverable for an adventuring setting at least. And so for that reason, I have this is like a kid's like composite bow. I don't even know if I would call this composite. I'm not too big on my bow verbiose. And so the quiver ends up over here because it falls in line with the backpack system. And so if you notice here, this actually lends very well to a backpack scaffolding to equip and unequip the bow in that fantasy setting that you might see in video games and whatnot, which does look super fanciful and like unrealistic, is actually made very realistic. So what that employs is the carabiner. You don't even really need the carabiner. You could just use the grab handle of the backpack. And I use a humble chopstick. I use that to latch onto the carabiner, and it just sits perfectly secure where it needs to be. I can reach. It does. It takes a little bit of training, I'm not gonna lie. It takes a lot of familiarizing yourself with the setup and whatnot. But again, if you're putting away your weapons, you're probably in a safe space. You're probably gonna have a lot more time to make movements and whatnot. And the idea behind this was that I am able to take on and off the backpack with ease. I can just drop the whole setup if I need to, and this is able to, you know, just put right on top of my EDC itself. Everything's super secure and able to just take on and off like such. Something else I've got in the same slot, kind of somewhat hidden by the quiver typically, is the short sword I have in here. And so the theme is I don't want to go with a big long sword. That's what I've got the spear for. Short sword is nice for close quarters and whatnot. This is just some no-name, random, like $20 sword from Cult of Athena. I think this is the Shadow Cutlery Shadow Warrior. Super ninja, super tactical. But the point of using a short sword like this is just for proof of concept, by the way. It's not a big hack and slash sword. It's not the nicest steel. I can dispatch some zombies with this, though. I'm not going to lie. I'd be able to mess up somebody or something. And the point of that being is that since it is going to be on the back, the scabbard, you would want it to be nice and short. If were this any longer, I probably wouldn't be able to fully extend and draw it out on the back. And speaking of a back scabbard, this was also inspired by a Shadiversity video. Shout out Shadiversity. Go check out his videos. They're so awesome. This is one of his collaborator Nate's idea. And so what he did with this was he put a scabbard on his back left shoulder this actually works well with what I've got on here. This is the Devil's Edge comma, and this is meant to be a belt loop that's kind of integrated with the scabbard. And so I can use this as a grab handle, and I can pull it forward so that I can grab it out as such. Again, stout blade, short blade. It's going to be a close range weapon. And so the point of this is that you're able to secure it and put it right back in the same spot like such. I could even, if I really wanted to be super, super mega fantasy, you can dual wield, grab them both out like that, which is super cool. I don't know how practical it is, but very fantasy, very high fantasy, just very cool to look at. See, so even just putting them both back, I'm like, how am I gonna do this? I'll do one at a time though. Again, point being is that if you are putting your weapons away, you're going to be in a safe place. If I really did need to in the heat of a battle, I could drop it, pull out a different weapon. That's the whole point of the adventuring kit. I don't want to get disarmed and whatnot and be left wanting a weapon. And so I've got a lot of options with me. This one right here is an axe. So not only is it an axe, but it's also a hammer. This is from O Life. This is actually like a tactical, they call it their O tackle, something or another. And it comes with a really cool kydex sheath that actually does reveal the hammer striking end without unsheathing it. Unsheathing it though reveals a pretty nasty edge, pretty thin blade. So this wouldn't be so much for hatcheting. This would again be for combat. It's also got a pry bar at the end, picking tool or prying tool. Useful for if I was adventuring, I could use it as a wrecking tool, trying to get into an area and whatnot. Pretty useful. And I have that equipped on my backpack with just a one loop, what do they even call it? A sword frog, I believe is what historically, if not historically, colloquially it's called. I also keep a fixed blade on my back right here, which is also pretty fantasy. I can grab it out right here with this pull tab that I had made out of paracord right here. I can pull that out and it will reveal my little itty bitty SE3 trusty little knife. This probably wouldn't be too much for self-defense. This would probably be more for whittling, carving, hunting and whatnot. This would be a survival knife, but of course can always be used as a self-defense weapon as well. It's always nice to have extra backups and redundancies. And that's the backpack setup. And so it is designed to be lightweight. And so in Shadiversity's video about his adventuring setup, he noted that adventuring entails a lot of walking. And so with this, I'm able to keep it pretty lightweight. I'm able to just walk around, and this is, despite the amount of things I have, it's not very heavy at all. Contrary to popular belief, swords actually don't weigh too much. They weigh maybe about like a pound, 2 pounds each. And that's the case with, the two swords that I've got with me. The heaviest thing probably with me is either the axe hammer or the spear. And the spear being, of course, because it's a big rod of metal. And of course that's able to be dropped and it's carried over. It's the only thing that isn't attached to the backpack. And so flipping around the backpack, I actually had a lot of fun with this. I had taken a lot of use of the straps, and this is why I would call it a modern setup. I had taken a lot of use of the straps on the backpack. And so it's a little bit of a jumbled mess if you look at it, but it's also very secure. I took the belt loop that originally came with the Devil's Edge comma, and I looped it all around the backpack and secured it so that I can just throw my arm into the sling of the arm, and it's all right there. The quiver and one of the swords, my right-hand sword, actually sits in the water bottle holder right there, and it's closed shut with that little strap right there, and that's kept in place. Also very secure. The quiver also has a little bit of a hook, and so I hook that to the grab handle of the bag, which is also kept really secure. The carabiner on which the bow holsters onto is there as well, and also the commas belt loop is also tied around into that as well. So this is it's a pretty pivotal piece right here. I use the pocket. I use the little drop pocket, which is typically pretty useless. I would imagine like people like you put like a jacket in there or something. That's what people say, but I don't know what jacket's gonna fit in there. Maybe like a lightweight shell. My turtle's going crazy right now. He don't want to be in there. So pardon the noise. It's also raining and the heater's on. So that is kept in place. It's kept upright in a kind of a sticking out this way position so that I'm able to grab it and I'm able to grab it. The bow also lays across the either this or this, depending on how I put it back in there. And I want it to be as flush with the backpack as possible. On this side is kind of just survival tools. Also in the water bottle pocket, I've got this is the Gerber Double Down, and that is a folding machete. So typically it comes with some locks on it, and it's like 2 redundant locks. It comes and stops this way, and then once more before it reaches full opening position. It also has a little, like a stopper tab, actual lock on the outside. I removed all of that so that I can balisong the thing open and close, and check that out. That's just so cool. And so this is, more for brush clearing and all that hard use that I wouldn't want to use my weapon blades on. And behind that, I left just enough space to tuck another survival tool, and that's I believe this is the Baco Laplander. This is a folding saw, again, just for survival. I got a lot of paracord at the end too. It's also meant to be a wrist strap, so this doesn't come flying off your hand when you are sawing and whatnot. Not really a weapon, but I still think pretty cool nonetheless, and it is a part of the kit. And that sits all kept within the strap as well, and also the water bottle holder. And of course, for water, I can just open the backpack and drop it into the middle. And so in the actual middle is not too many things. I keep just like a folder with some extra paper, and that's for fire or note taking or whatnot. I've also got a power charger bank, few cables, boo kit, like a bar for food. But otherwise, not too many things in here because, again, it's meant to be kept light. It's meant to be an adventuring kit. And this is able to just, again, throw on top of my body. The point of this being is that I'm able to just throw it over my typical EDC. And this is my typical EDC, plus maybe 1 or 2 things. And so with that, I've already got a quality set of things that I'm not going to need to keep in a backpack. My whole idea of my EDC, as you can see in my other videos, is that so I don't need to carry a bag with me. I can do other crazy, ridiculous things with the backpack instead. But this is just one of my kits. I have other backpack kits that serve different purposes, and I'll put those in different videos. But with my regular EDC, I have a whole slew of weapons already, good for the adventuring type. And so if you don't want to have those big weapons out, or maybe you found yourself without your bag, you still have your pocket knife in your right hand, you've got your flashlight in your left hand. You're able to, if you've watched any Hard to Hurt, you've got, shout out Icy Mike, you've got a debuff right there with the flashlight that comes at you in the middle of the night. You're not seeing that coming. And so that's a pretty powerful tool in itself, and it is a tool. Look at the action on that, by the way. This is Old Life Zilla. It's not a great steel, and it's just D2 steel and G10 handles. I forget what it's called. Look at that action though, that's crazy. I've also got, on the backpack and in my pants, I've got pepper spray. This is probably the king of self-defense right here in a modern setting. See, as an adventurer, I'd probably kill to have some pepper spray on me. I could pepper spray bears, people, probably not zombies, but it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have. I've got a lighter, of course, in my other pocket. My 2 cell phones that I carry, a little bit gratuitous. I've got both of my pockets carry my kits, my everyday kits, which is also in a different video. And then this isn't part of the EDC, but this is, why not, right? For the adventurer, I can grab out full-sized fixed knife like that. I like to use it as a projectile. That's a little startling. and then you're able to, you know, get to work and whatnot. This is the O Knife Fortitude, and it's Cerakoted. Cerakote is really cool. It's very pretty, but it scratches like no one's business. It's got a bunch of scratches on it, and I have no idea from what even. I haven't even like used the thing, but it's got scratches all up on it. Of course, I've also got my backup knives. So these sit below the waist. These are going to be the ones that are concealed and you can't see. Maybe you're going to be up against somebody. Bam, knife. It's in your gut, and you didn't see it. This is another Gerber. It's the Gerber like caper, I think caper downwind. It's got a really, really weird name, and that's actually secured with the belt going on here. Well, this isn't an EDC video for my pants. As you can see, there's a few other things on here, but I won't go into that today. I've also got on the other side a karambit, and this is from Smith & Wesson. It's a Emerson Wave spring assisted knife. So this is able to self-deploy, very similar in practice, in action, to a fixed knife. I can just grab it straight out, and so it comes with a lock on it if you want it, you know, for safety and whatnot. But I'd also be able to double equip real quick if I wanted to with two knives. Again, a little bit gratuitous, but hey, it's fun, right? That's why I do these videos, is because it's fun and I'm able to, and I enjoy it. And you should do things that you enjoy. That is my adventuring kit. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to slay some zombies on an adventure. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun with this. And if you guys have any other suggestions and whatnot, feel free to leave them in the comments. Go check out Shadiversity's videos. Go shout out Shad, and go watch Icy Mike's videos on the Hard to Hurt channel. They've inspired a lot of other things as well. And also, speaking of, shout out Icy Mike. Also, what I have on here, I almost completely forgot, claw hammer. Full-sized claw hammer, a little bit less than full size. I actually modified this a little bit, as you can see. Full video coming on that. You know, I hope I'm not spoiling too much with that. And of course, what would an adventurer be without a firearm? Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you next time.